Your Wi-Fi extender right here.
I have it right there.
Oh. Let's find out here.
All right.
Prep.
We're probably live already, so.
Woo! Spirit fingers!
Yeah, you're live.
Oh well, no one's watching.
I don't know.
Yeah, see. Oh, I didn't get spirit fingers yet.
It's late, that's why. Most of everybody who watches the channels are asleep. All right, so welcome everybody. I know it's late. Hopefully you do tune in tonight. Tonight we're actually working on Ian's Mark IV. We slapped in a big old honking turbo on the back from Mamba Tech. This is like a GT30, GT35 turbo, ball bearing turbo. We had a custom downpipe made, full exhaust stainless steel made for this car, custom intercooler piping made for the car. We just installed the coolant and oil lines on the car. So tonight is actually going to be its first startup. We just got it tuned from Boost Dynamic Tuning from Trent Smith, the Magic Man. So without further ado, we just pulled out the Relay 409 out of the car. And we're gonna prime the pump and the motor. Since the motor sat for 2 months without any oil, it's always wise to prime your motor no matter what with some fresh oil. What's going on, Demetrius? So we want to prime it. So we pull the relay out, and the reason why you want to prime it, number one, you need oil going through the turbo. Number two, obviously we need oil back to build up pressure around the block and engine. So we don't want the car to actually turn on, we just want to crank it. So we're going to get the battery plugged in. So again guys, this is the first time we're going to start it up after 2 months of it sitting in my driveway.
Ooh, the car alarm might go off.
Oh, please don't. Okay.
It shouldn't go off anymore.
So
It's not 12. Oh, it's almost 12. This clock's almost right.
That's 11:25.
It's almost right.
It's almost right. Well, it's 11:26 Pacific time. So what Ian's gonna do is gonna crank the engine for about 4 seconds, stop it, crank it again, 4 seconds, stop it. We're gonna do this in successions of about 3 groups of like 3 or 4 cranks, and let the car cool down, and then we're gonna fire it up. So remember, about 4 seconds. Go for it. You just hold it down. That's it. About 4 seconds. So it's like about like 5 or 6 cranks. Okay. Give it a sec. Okay. Do it again. All right. Give it a second. So remember guys, what we're trying to do right now is not turn on the car, is prime the engine for oil pressure. What's up, Trisk? All right, one more time. All right, give it a second. Let me get the flashlight. Where is it? So while you're doing this, it is now a good practice before the car turns on to look for any little subtle leaks where leaks can happen with oil. So in this scenario, we have the oil pressure line right here on top. So we want to double check the oil return pressure, or the feed line on top and over here, because those are the two that are going to generate the most pressure immediately before any other line in the entire engine bay. So right now they look dry, so go for it.
Crank again?
Yep. All right, give it a second. So again, keep an eye out for these 2 lines whenever you do a big turbo setup, just because you need to pay attention to any type of fluids leaking. Go for it. All right, give it a second. Now I'm gonna go underneath the car right now, okay?
Yeah.
Alright, crank it. Give it a second. I see a little weep, but it just could be a fluke. Crank it. Yeah, the return line, which is not under pressure, but it probably is because of the way that we bent the line. Yeah. Okay, crank it. One more time. Alright. Let's fire it up. Put the relay in. Alright guys, moment of truth. Ian's gonna put in the 409 relay, which is the fuel pump relay, which gives pressure to the fuel injection system. So without that relay, the car will never turn on and it will never pump fuel into the injectors, which is a good thing because you don't want pressure, you don't want the car to turn over and anything. You just want the car to just crank when building pressure. So a good 8 or 10 cranks in sets of 4 seconds is more than enough to get this engine ready for pretty much its debut. I just heard the fuel pump go. Yep. So before we crank it up, yeah. So right now, what I'm looking for is just trying to remember everything. Yeah, that's what I'm more worried about too. If they're those O-rings. All right, fire it up. Yep. Make sure it's out of gear. Okay, go. All right, give it a second. Give it a second. Relay is 409. All right, it's hard to turn over because we started building fuel pressure. Again, guys, this is natural. Don't freak out. Don't try to stress the car over and try to crank it. Just let it settle for a second, and then do it one more time, and it should fire right up. Go. Hold on. Trying to make sure everything's plugged in. Yeah, I plugged that in already. Alright, go. It should fire up. Don't rev it, don't rev it. Let it settle, let it settle. Come on, baby, come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Give it a little bit of gas, just a little bit. Yeah, just hold it there. When you give it gas, it accelerates, right? actually a success. I know it sounds really bad, but
No, that sounded really good.
but the good news is that it runs.
Yes. And all that's the excess oil.
Yeah, this is all the for us touching it, and
yeah,
and all
our oils.
Yeah. So good news, no leak, no leak there.
That sounds
No leak.
super good. That exhaust sounds super good.
The exhaust sounds good. You can hear like it's a nice, just a nice flow.
It's not obnoxious
So,
and loud. It's going to be though.
So what we need to do is unplug the battery again, and then
put the window up first.
and then we gotta do adaptation.
Oh, for the throttle body.
Mm-hmm. Since we are using a Hemi throttle body, guys, you see this right here? This thing is literally twice the size of the factory Mark IV throttle body. It is a bolt-on throttle body for a 1.8T. You get it from the Dodge, any of the Dodge cars with, I think, Junkyard. 5.6, I think 5.6 liter, 5.8 Hemi. Just make sure it uses the 6-pin Hemi connector, and it literally bolts right on. If you guys are into big power, this is the throttle body to have for big power. So easy thing. Now if your car sounds like this, it might have a vacuum leak. Right now I don't hear vacuum leaks. I'm hearing other stuff that again, this car has been off for 2 months and it just got retuned. So more likely the issue that we're having here is because the throttle body isn't adapted, and since we put a different throttle body here than the factory one, it's going to sound like that. What happens is that if you don't adapt the throttle body to your car, the throttle body has no idea what it's doing when it's opening and closing. So when you accelerate, it'll accelerate and it'll just go blah, and on its own effort with like just vacuum, it's going to open and close because it doesn't know what it's doing. It doesn't know the range. It doesn't know how to open and close. So we have to teach it that. And that's why you have to unplug the battery. And then we'll be right back. Gotta discharge the capacitors really quick. The flux capacitors. And then cross the power and negative really quick. So have these touch for about like 10-15 seconds. So what we're gonna do now is wait for this to discharge completely. Ian's gonna get his butt in the car. So get your butt in the car, Ian. The window can be down, it's fine.
No, I was looking for the throttle button, the stock throttle button to compare.
Oh, to do a comparison?
Yeah. It's probably not a white box, that's too difficult to get to. Man, hacker voice.
Close your door. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now, don't put the key in the ignition yet, okay? Now this is what we're gonna learn how to do throttle body adaptation, guys. I already shown you guys once, but we might as well do it again. So you want to set a timer to 1 minute. So what I'm gonna do, make sure there's nothing, you have nothing open, right? Besides the hood? And the window, okay, that's fine. So right now, Ian, you're gonna put the key in the on position immediately. I hope not. Okay, go. On, all the way on. So now, leave it there, don't touch it. So what's gonna happen now, we're leaving it on for 1 entire minute. And the reason why we do this is so the throttle body over there knows to open and close and adapt to pretty much the new ECU. What we did is plug it in and didn't start just cranking the car. That's not gonna work. It's not really smart to do that. But you know, this is Beach House Garage. This is all about living and learning, right? Yeah. So as it's learning, you see the really loud buzzing noise. If you hear that, it's adapting pretty much to the car. This is again the procedure for adapting your throttle body if you ever remove it from your manifold. So we're now at the 15-second mark.
You've only been here 15 seconds?
No, almost a minute.
Okay. So you have to do this
So now when it's down to 0, you're gonna put it in the off position all the way down and leave it there.
You have to do this if you have a brand new throttle body?
Go, do it.
Off.
Okay, now leave it alone. Wait for another minute.
Take the key out?
No, you leave it there. Leave the key in the ignition.
You have to do this even if you have a brand new throttle body?
Yep,
Even if it's stock?
even if it's stock. I mean, Tris, that could be your problem. A lot of people don't realize when you unplug your battery and you mess around with the throttle body, it's gonna freak out. If you unplug it, or just move it a millimeter, like unbolting it, the car doesn't know the flow anymore, and it's new to it, so it's gonna freak out the vacuum procedure, like the vacuum that's supposed to be set at. It's pretty normal. A lot of people do it. All right, got 10 seconds, and then what you're gonna do is pull the key out, and we're gonna wait 1 more minute.
Riveting.
I know, right? It's exciting. 2, 1, 0. Pull the key out. All right, 1 more minute. And then the moment I say turn the car on, okay? Like all the way on. All right?
Yep.
We got 40 seconds.
I think I won't even be able to enjoy this.
The wires that I crossed was the power and negative. You cross them together when it's disconnected from the battery.
Still gotta break in the clutch.
A lot of them are actually loud because you have an intake. If you don't have an intake, they're not loud. 12 seconds. 10, 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Turn it on. Leave it alone. Don't touch the gas or anything. What's up? No, there's a vacuum leak. I gotta find it. Hold on. It's gotta be one of those vacuum lines. Just don't let it die. There's a vacuum leak right here. I found it. That's why we have it. That's an easy fix. See right there. It's that one bolt we're missing. The throttle body, that one bolt we couldn't bolt down. That's why it's like that. Turn it off.
I swear I don't have a cam.
Yeah, so we figured it out though. Oh man, Smoky Joe.
I kind of wish my auto was like that, but
All right, so there's a lot of smoke coming out of this. Let's find out why. There's nothing leaking, so yeah, you have a vacuum leak right here. Hey, we don't have a gasket in here, so
yeah,
more
it's
likely.
not nothing.
Yeah.
Is it really that hole?
No, it's not that hole.
That is it.
It's because it's not seated.
Because this one is the one I couldn't tighten.
Yeah, it's not seated all the way down. You can see the gap.
Helps out. The gasket would help
You
a
see
lot
the
with
gap
that.
right there.
Yeah, the gasket would help a lot with that.
Yeah, but that's it. Throttle body's adapted, but we have to adapt it again because we have to take it
yeah,
off.
it'll seat better when we do.
Yeah, but you saw how easy it idled nicely when I actually gave
Yeah.
it some smoky smokes. So there you go.
That sounds glorious. The wife will hate it.
Raghu, why don't you adapt it with VCDS? Because I don't have VCDS. I mean, that's pretty much.
Sent the cable, right?
Hmm?
You sent the cable?
No, he didn't send the cable. I gotta hit him up with that. I have a cable. I think it should work, but I don't know. Is it normal for my turbo to howl like a whining and low? I need to see a video or a picture about what you're talking about, because that's not normal. So pretty much we figured out why the car was idling pretty bad after the fact, and it's just a vacuum leak, nothing bad. I found the vacuum leak. It's on the throttle body. Always have carb cleaner with you. Carb cleaner is magical for everyone. Helps you find any little problems immediately if you have a vacuum leak. Rava Dom, the goal for this build is up to is 400 to 500 horsepower. I'm really trying to push 400. It will make probably 400 in a heartbeat. This turbo is massive. I'll show you guys what it looks like.
Holy smokes, we didn't get any fuel leaks.
No, it's
actually
it's
super
really
surprised.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome.
it's hard to see it, but
You're talking about stock.
yeah,
See? You can't see it. It's stock.
exactly. So you see there's a downpipe here that we had custom made for it, full on stainless steel, and the turbo's right there. The turbo's literally the entire bottom of the manifold. It's pretty big. This is a ball bearing turbo. It's a GT30 or GT35 style turbo made by Mamba Tech. It's designed, the turbo is designed to make up to 600 horsepower. Our goal is not 600. Our goal is more like the 350 to 400. So what has been done to this engine? If you guys haven't watched this build, I did this build live on YouTube a couple months ago. What is it?
GT3076R.
So yeah, GT3076R style turbo. So yeah, up to 750 horses. Yeah, buddy, Dimitri's hit me up on my email, pincheals.garage@gmail.com. Yeah, no, this engine will make a lot of power. When we get to actually, we're going to be showing you guys how to do the live tuning on this. We're going to be doing live logging, and we're going to send our files over to Trent Smith so you guys can see how we do flash tuning on this car, and our buddy Trent Smith is going to do all the work for us. It's going to be pretty crazy on how this build is going to be done pretty soon.
Just need to break in the clutch.
We just got to break in the new clutch, so we can't actually open it up all the way, but you guys can see here the throttle body. This pipe right here is 2.5 inches, which is the size of a factory throttle body, and you'll notice it goes all the way up to 4 inches here. This thing's massive.
You want to pull out the stock one?
Nah. Oh, I have my Hemi one up there too.
Oh, okay.
If you can.
Yeah, I got the Hemi one. The stock one should be relatively easy too.
No, Ivan, none of this stuff is from Alibaba or Wish. Everything on this car. So the head is fully built Supercheck valve train. It's one of my favorite brands of valves that I use for these kind of builds for under 500 horsepower. And then for the block, we did Integrated Engineering rifle drilled rods. We did stock pistons, because the stock pistons are amazing. Getz piston rings. This thing's ridiculous. Getz piston rings. We did 034 Motorsports grams, intake manifold, Hemi throttle body, custom intercooler piping, tile blow-off valve, 1000 cc injectors. We also did Don't worry, Ivan. We know it's where you're messing around, buddy. Mamba Tech GT3070R turbo. This runs off of pump fuel. Okay. So yeah, it has got an upgraded fuel pump as well from Deshworks, right? You did the Deshworks drop-in fuel pump.
650.
And then I'm gonna show you guys the difference between throttle bodies too. This is a stock throttle body, okay, guys? This is what typically people put in their cars, or what comes from the factory. And then this is actually what we put on the car. All right. They're pretty gnarly in how big the difference is in throttle bodies. Yeah, this is an 80 millimeter, right?
Yeah.
And this is 36, something like that. I mean, it literally is consumed and so much more. Huh?
Scoot over.
No, I moved the camera later. No? There you go. This is like the difference in size. It's insane. Stock, Hemi. And if you know where to shop for these, get them at your local junkyard. They're 50 bucks.
Yep.
If you bring a big enough bag, they're free.
I didn't say that.
I mean, yeah. They come off of a Hemi. Pretty much, we found them off of
Chrysler 300. We got
the Chrysler 300, yeah.
Mine was off the Chrysler 300. Yours was off the Jeep.
A Jeep, yeah.
Or Durango.
Or is it a Durango? It's off a Dodge, pretty much. Anything Dodge, Chrysler,
Yeah.
with a Hemi engine in them, they have these throttle bodies. They use the factory Volkswagen connector.
Just gotta snip this off.
And then you gotta snip the one on the back. This one doesn't have it, yeah.
Oh, okay. Mine must be
Yours,
nice.
yours the one had it. Yours had it.
Mine was the premium one.
So yeah, these are insane, guys. Huge difference. The reason why we go bigger throttle bodies on this one is just to allow air to go into the engine a lot faster. More air equals more power, but with more power you need a lot more fuel. So yeah, wait until on Monday we're actually gonna drive it. Today was all about getting everything buttoned up and actually having it turn on. That was just the goal for today's job today. And we did it. We were successful, 100% successful. We got it running, and that's it. Nice, Shane. So for tonight's pretty much live, that's pretty much. Yeah, dude, Shane, I would grab one for the VR. You gotta have it tuned though for it, okay? You can't just slap it on. They have to be tuned for it, and you also need a manifold that can support it. They do make an adapter plate where it'll go from the smaller to larger throttle body, so you can go about that. But if you do go that route, Shane, make sure you get a manifold that makes it keep it go a little bit further down, because it sticks up super high. The hood barely closes. Oh, thanks, Ravadam. I appreciate that, buddy. Thank you. So again, Monday, tune in, and you guys are gonna see this thing in action. We're not gonna boost it. We're just gonna drive it as low, how can I say, as low RPM possible, because you cannot do anything with that. We put the new clutch in this, right? Oh yeah, so we put a stage 2 endurance or stage 3.
Something like that. I don't remember off the top of my
It
head.
was a South Bend.
Yeah, South Bend.
Yeah, so we put a South Bend endurance clutch in this. So this sucker is gonna grip, and we can't have that while we're driving. We got to keep it under 3,000 RPMs and driving it like a grandma when we actually are done doing the entire braking procedure. I know that really sucks for me and for Ian, because we built a monster of a car and we can't even open her up. Not for 500 miles, which is really depressing. Oh yeah.
It's not even good mountain driving either.
I know,
It's just-
dude. All right, so pretty much that's it. We're done for tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm sorry that it's so late. This kind of ended up being very last minute for me and Ian. I mean, we literally started right after I got off of work at 7 o'clock. And I had to eat dinner, and Ian had to get all his stuff going, but the car runs. That was my goal for tonight, and it runs. Now we know what the only issue we have is the vacuum leak on the manifold, which is not a big deal. That'll take us a couple of minutes to fix. That's it though. I mean, we'll give you guys an even bigger breakdown on Monday. We're gonna wash the car and give it a cool little drive and see how you guys like the build and how it looks when we're done with it. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys, on this live session with me and Ian. But we're gonna call it a night. It's late. It's midnight here. I know it's a lot later across the country on your guys' side, but yeah, 500 miles. Yes, 500 miles for the break-in procedure on the clutch. The clutch requires a 500 mile break-in under 3,000 RPMs.
Yeah, they want to be stop and go traffic.
Yep, you want to drive in stop and go traffic. Very, very light light on the clutch. No, the rings. No, the motor's been built for almost a year.
Yeah, motor's been built for a year now.
Yeah,
the motor's broken in. It's literally just the clutch we're waiting on.
Yeah, we just got to break in the new clutch because his old clutch was on his way out. So new clutch, that's it. Turbo's ready to go. I mean, we'll let it warm up and let it go, but yeah, it's pretty much that's it. Once the clutch is broken in 500 miles, maybe we'll just make a 500-mile trip.
Or I'll just drive back and forth from my house to your house.
That'll take a very long time.
It's the 78 that's stop and go traffic.
Oh, that's true.
No matter what time of the day. I'll probably hit traffic on the way home.
Yeah. All right, guys. Have yourself a good night. I'm excited. You guys should be excited as well because this car is going to start making some freaking serious power very, very soon. Peace out. Have a wonderful night. Sacramento and back. That's not even. That's 500 miles one way, fool.
Hey, we'll be able to get logs on the way back.
We get all the logs on the way
Yeah.
back. Trent would be like, "Oh, there's too many logs, man. We just want." All he wants is 2 pulls from 3rd gear to like from 3,000 all the way to max boost, and then just send them that log.
Okay, if you insist.
That'd be fucking epic.